Okay, here we go. Let's just make sure that this is going to work on Facebook. Yes, go live. Hello, everyone. Okay, had to stream something a little bit differently for today, but I'm super excited to welcome Marissa Renee to the stage. Hello, Marissa.
Hi, nice to meet everybody. Thank
Yes,
you
and
for having me.
oh, my pleasure. So, for those that come across this on other channels, I'm Renee Carbone Fleming, and I love sharing that I unapologetically inspire moms over 40 to build their $100,000 Fuck It fund and unleash their inner badass queen. And with that, I am really blessed to be able to meet other fabulous women that are in business and are building their empires. And I met Marissa through a coaching program that we're both involved with. And we had a conversation, and I was just like blown away. I go, I need to share you with my audience. So, Marissa, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. First of all, I'm so excited to be here. So, I am an intuitive business architect, and a lot of times people are like, what in the world does that even mean?
Yeah.
So, I am a designer. I own the Auloure Empire, which merges my psychic medium gifts along with my design agency. And I help women shift into their 7-figure leader that they're supposed to be by removing energy blocks that are holding them back, channeling messages for them, making sure that they are intuitively aligned with their brand, and then building out all of the pieces that they need to have to show up confidently online. So that is what I do, but I make sure that everything comes from an intuitive space, and I use my psychic gifts to be able to help women show up and shine in their business.
I love that. And I've always been fascinated with, mediums, with psychics, tarot card. Like, I love that. People don't know that about me. But how did you come to embrace or know that you actually have intuitive gifts?
So I always had premonitions when I was younger as a kid, but I never really knew what that meant. I would be able to see things before they were happening, and I just thought like, oh, that was just luck, right? But about 8 years ago, when I was pregnant with my twins, I had my spiritual awakening, and from then it just never shut off. So I learned Reiki. I'm a Reiki master. I am also a circle facilitator, so I help women within a circle setting. So I am certified to do that and to order to release any energy blocks holding them back. But this all really happened when I was pregnant. I didn't understand what was going on. My ex-husband thought I was crazy and losing my mind. And I just knew that I needed to have that guidance. So I knew that these were gifts that I had. I was really always into that witchy kind of stuff and like past lives. And, I loved crystals, but I never really knew that I had all of the gifts within me to help other women. So that's when I started learning about it and I started developing my gifts even further.
That's what do you kind of like freak out your family and friends when you're at a get together and go, oh my gosh, like,
It's actually interesting. I don't channel for my family at all. I think because I'm so close with them, that sometimes like I will actually like doubt myself on what's happening and what's going on, just because I'm like, do I just know too much about them, or what's happening here? So I kind of shut it down when it comes to my family. My friends are always blown away by the things that I know, and it's really great. But I find that when I was doing Reiki, because I thought I was supposed to have a healing center, when I was doing Reiki for women, it would always come down to their purpose and helping them find their passion and their purpose. And then I would always start talking about their brand. They would be like, well, I have a business. I was thinking about doing this, but I'm just not sure, it's not making sense. And then I realized that their business also has energy too. Just like I have energy, you have energy, our clients have energy, the business has energy. And if they're not energetically matched and it becomes a mismatch, that's when you're kind of pushing away the clients that you're meant to work with. So that's when I realized that I'm supposed to help women in business, and I'm not supposed to be this psychic medium that people come to and they're like, oh, my loved one passed away, can you please channel their energy? Like, although I can do that, it's deeper rooted to help women find and ignite their passion and their purpose and give their business life, to make sure that when we are designing, we're designing from an intuitive place that aligns with your energy as the business owner and the clients that you're meant to attract. So we do a lot of energetic work between the two.
That's wonderful. And that blows me away because it really is, our business does have energy. And if we're not aligned with exactly what we're supposed to be doing, like we always say, our purpose, right? And women
Yeah.
are oftentimes keep wondering, what the hell are we here for? What is my purpose? So I love
Mhm.
that you're able to tap into that energy and guide them along the way. Now, how long have you been in business? Like, what made you get into business doing something like this, and even
Well,
building your empire?
yeah, well, I was actually an event planner. I'm originally from New York. I now reside in Florida with my twins. I was an event planner and I always loved designing spaces. So I was always in the design world. And when I had my twins, I realized that it was really hard to do these events that I still loved on the weekends and in the evening because I wasn't able to be the mom that I wanted to be. So
Mhm.
at that time, that's when I started. I don't want to say just a stay at home mom because stay at home moms, it's like a full time job and you do more work than going to a 9 to 5. But that's what I was doing. And I just didn't feel complete. I didn't feel whole. I knew that I was supposed to be more than being a mother. Although I love being a mother, but I know that my mission here is deeper rooted and I'm meant to help women and expand. So as I was doing that inner work for me and like really soul searching and seeing what I loved, that's when I learned Reiki and I started realizing that the women that I'm working with, they're just a reflection of myself. They're still soul searching. They're trying to figure out all of the pieces and maybe they've been DIYing it themselves and it just hasn't ignited yet, or it's like that last puzzle piece hasn't fit. And I realized with it, even within myself, that it was because I had deep rooted like blocks that were just holding me back. They were either family karmic energy or beliefs that I had instilled in myself that needed to be removed. And things needed to like start making sense for me. So when I started doing that deep work, that's when all the pieces started coming together.
Well,
So yeah, and that's exactly what I do.
I love, so when we spoke, this is what took me back, and I'm going to share this with everyone because the people that know me know uh, a little bit of what's going on. But when you and I spoke, you were having a sense of me having a loss of a child, a miscarriage, and I was like, no, and you're like, really? Like, no, I didn't never had a miscarriage, right? I was blessed. I had two girls, but you and I didn't know each other. Like, it wasn't like you knew my story, my past, where I was. It was oh, I'm curious. Let's get together. And then when it hit, it was like, that loss is my youngest daughter is estranged from me and cut me out of her life. Like, that does feel like a death. And it has, affected me, of course, tremendously, like any moms would understand. And it was definitely and is, still so painful. But when that came through for you, at first I was like fighting it, going like, it doesn't make sense. So, but then when it clicked, it was like, oh my gosh. And then the floodgates opened, right? Because it can be emotional. But yeah, that was pretty powerful. So that's when I was like, okay, I need to have her um, show up for my group and these badass queens and share your talents because it was really amazing.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm happy I was able to bring that gift to you, like that message,
Yeah,
because a lot of the times we don't realize that life problems equal business problems.
yeah,
So if things are happening in our life on this side of the fence, they're going to affect our business, especially if we are the owners of our business, right? We're not working for somebody else. That energy is just constantly flowing between each other, right? So if you have something that needs to work on over here, it's going to be a reflection of where you are in your business too
hmm,
and what's happening there. So that's why those type of messages have to come through. And a lot of the times when I work with my clients, we don't even get into their business like right away. Like, yes, it's good to know like what they do, like where they want to go and who they're helping. But a lot of times we start on this side of the fence there with them and what's coming through for them because there's things that need to be shifted and released before we even get into business. It's like trying to put the roof on a house,
yeah,
and you don't even have the foundation, done. So
yeah.
that's definitely like the process that I go through with all
That
of my clients.
that makes sense. And if anything comes through, people can see it like we didn't, plan anything, but if it does, then, let me know.
Yeah, actually there's so much coming for like the group as a whole. So like I would definitely like to do like
Yeah,
a
please
full
share.
card reading. Okay.
Please share.
So so what I do is I use chakra energy, and for anyone that's not familiar with their chakras, chakras are energy points within our body. We have 7 of them. And they start from down in our groin area, our root chakra, and goes all the way to the top of our head. And we have 7 of them. And now each chakra point also resides with your business. So what I do is I go through each chakra, and not only do I help you in your life, but we build your business upon each chakra point. So your root chakra is your grounding center. It's based from conception. So before you're even born, so conception up until 8 years old. And that's around safety, your money beliefs, financial things really rooted down into your life and your childhood. And then we move up into our sacral chakra, which is about 2 inches below your belly button. The root chakra is red. And then the sacral is orange. And that is connection to your mother, connection to your own children, your pleasure center, passion, and creativity. So with your business, we actually focus on your branding within that chakra point because it's the creative center. Then when we move up into our solar plexus, which is yellow, which is kind of like right below, like you have your ribs right in that little triangle center. Usually people will be like, oh, I just had a gut feeling, and they'll hold on to their stomach right there. That is yellow, and your solar plexus is your confidence. It's actually your power center. So it's where energy actually connects to you. So if you are ever coming in contact with somebody and you're going through like a store, and you're just going in the grocery store and you're just like, oh my gosh, I just kind of feel like I'm in a funk. Like, I just don't feel like myself, or like, how did I just like get into this like bad mood? It's more than likely, somebody you cross paths with somebody and their energy, their cord connected to you. So whenever people are feeling like that, I'm always like, just cut the cord, envision a scissor, just cutting the cord and just releasing it. It's not energetically in line with you, and just ask it to go. So there's so many times I'll just like get like this like very like weird feeling in my stomach. I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on today? But then moving up into your heart chakra, which is green, it's your love for yourself, your love for others. And moving into your throat chakra, which is blue, it's your communication. So when I focus with business, I talk about like your messaging a lot and how are you communicating? Are you able to show up confidently? Because your throat chakra is directly connected to your solar plexus. So your confidence and the way you're communicating out, not only to others, but to yourself as well. And then when we move up into your third eye, which is an indigo color, that is your intuition. And a lot of the times we all have that intuition within us, but we tend to ignore it. Yeah. Or we tend to look outside for that kind of like validation that we really need, but it's all in here. And then we have our crown chakra, which is at the top. It can be like a white color, or it can be that purple color, like violet. And that is your connection to source and connection to everyone else around you. So when I'm working with energy and the messages I'm receiving, usually one of them is going to connect and reside within one of the chakra points within your body that needs to be energetically aligned. So do you have any questions for me? I know it's hard to like connect with like the group. I wish I could talk to everybody.
I know exactly. And they'll have to like, we're gonna get your contact info to them, so in case they want to connect personally.
Okay, there is a card that's actually just flying out right now. So the deck I use is actually like, it's a chakra deck. It's really beautiful. If anybody wants to get it themselves, it's called Chakra, the Wisdom Oracle Guide by Tori Hartman. I love this deck. It just energetically aligns with me and my clients and the work that I do. So, so the card that like flew out. So whenever a card comes flying out, I'm like, all right, like spirit and, source just definitely has this message to go. So the card is actually destiny. Mm-hmm. And this is connected to our crown chakra. So it's connected to source and everybody else around. So this card is talking about taking a risk. taking a risk in your life, in your business, wherever you are. There's something that's been heavily weighing on your heart. And it's about, oh, how do I pull the energy that's coming through? Hold on one second. There's a feeling that you have to sacrifice something in order to get to where you want to be. And are you really willing to make that sacrifice? And a lot of the times it doesn't mean that you're sacrificing, that it's going to be like a loss. Sometimes it can be really perceived as like a good. Like, I'm willing to move in this direction of my life in order to get here. But also looking at all of the tools that you have, because we have the tools within inside ourselves. And I'm feeling a direct correlation to our heart chakra. And this is like there's like a general message to everybody in the group.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to get to your destiny, you have to be truthful with yourself and ultimately what you love to do. And that's how you're going to find your mission. That's how you're going to find your purpose. Because most of the times we're always looking for outside validation, right? So it's like, what does society want me to do? What does my parents want me to do? What does my husband want me to do? My partner, my children? How would somebody ultimately feel about me doing this, right? But it's taking the risk to ultimately trust yourself and what you know is good within your body. So whenever I go like this, like I find that there's like certain like things I do whenever I'm doing readings. So a lot of the times when I'm going like this, it's directly attached to like your esophagus, which goes down into your stomach, which is technically your solar plexus area. So if you're denying yourself that fuel, like, we need food in our body in order to live, right? And if you're denying yourself your ultimate purpose, you're not living your best self. Right. You're not living in your highest regard for the things that you were meant to be doing. So starting with me, and not to make this about me, but this is where it ultimately always begins, is I am the ripple effect. The messages are meant to come from me, from source, to channel out to you. So then you and everyone else in this group and everyone else that I speak to, they're able to find their mission and go march directly down their purpose and their path. Because we're all meant to help people. It's not just supposed to stay here within our body. We're meant to lead from our heart. And if we're not leading from our heart, we're actually denying ourselves and denying our source, denying our food, right? Like denying nourishing our soul, because we come here with a purpose. And a lot of the times when people ask me, they're like, well, Marissa, like, I'm just not sure. Like, what is it? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? I always tell people to look at the pattern. What are the things that you did as a child? Like, what did you ultimately love to do? Go back into your childhood. Go back into your root chakra. Go activate your solar plexus, because our solar plexus is our inner child. And just ultimately, like, what brings you joy? And if I asked everybody to close their eyes like right now, and there was like one word or one thing that they're meant to be doing, let's do it with you. Let's practice with you, right? Okay, Renee. Okay. So close your eyes. All right. And when I say your inner child, your joy, what are you supposed to be doing? What is that pattern that you've seen in your life ultimately that you feel tethered to, really connected to, that is so strong? It could be a word, it could be like a sentence, whatever it might be.
I would say the biggest thing for me would be girlfriend.
Girlfriends. All right. Girlfriend. So when you think about girlfriend, what does that ultimately mean to you?
Relationships with other women that are in my circle. That's what I love.
That's what you love. Okay. So that's actually getting like deeper rooted into your childhood. So into your childhood, where did you feel like you didn't have a relationship?
For a long time, I didn't have the close best friends. So I think that's something that grew. That is interesting, because I really didn't. I had a couple of close girlfriends, and then that went astray when I moved as a young child. So I lost a lot of those close relationships and never really developed that skill until later on in life.
So now when you started, okay, let's talk about two words, right? Think about the childhood and not having those friends. What is one word that comes up for you there?
Lonely.
Lonely. Okay. now that you're having, and you have brought all these women together, you have brought all those women in your life.
Yeah.
What word comes up for that?
Fulfilled.
Fulfilled. Ooh, okay. I feel it in my heart. So technically, your mission is to ultimately help other women like yourself that have always felt lonely. They felt alone, maybe misunderstood, maybe not able to trust other women, and bringing them into a very safe space in order for them to feel heard, for them to be able to shine,
Yeah.
and to build that ultimate connection.
I love that. And that's what I feel. I'm getting teary-eyed because that's been my feeling that, I freaking love helping other women. I just freaking love it. And whether it's not selling stuff, but it's whether it's helping them build their business and get unstuck and build their, I call it their bucket funds, look and feel great, be unapologetic, but be together and embrace who you are. But sometimes it's so hard to like let that shine for this because I don't want it to come across unauthentic. Like I truly feel it, but I'm always trying to I'm not trying to, but sometimes I find myself holding myself back because I don't want it to come across
Right.
unauthentic. Yeah.
Because that is deeply rooted into your childhood with those other friends that you have lost.
Yeah.
Fear of shining, being authentically who you are, right? And fear that what are they going to think about me?
Yeah.
Like, are they going to stay? Like, I so desperately and deeply want you to be here
Yeah.
with me that I will dim my light just a little bit to make sure that I still have ultimately what I need and what I'm looking for. But what you're doing is you're giving yourself a disservice because you're not, and I don't want to come in this like, oh, we're attacking Renee's energy.
No.
But you're meant to help these women because the mission, the deep rooted word is lonely, right? And I bet every single woman in this that's watching this in this group, there is a point in your life where you have felt lonely, right? I have felt it. There are days where like I'm surrounded by a lot of people, but we're always being challenged, right? To grow. And as we grow, that can be a very lonely journey because we're releasing and we're letting go of things, right? So, and it brings back into the word here that says we're sacrificing things. So we're sacrificing letting go of things in order to better ourselves. But do not lower your vibration and your light in order for people to stay with you, right? Because the ones that don't stay, those are the ones that are not supposed to be here on your journey with you, right? They're not part of your destiny. Your destiny is to help lead women that ultimately felt like, I'm not sure I really can trust women, right? Like I've been scorned by women before. Like, I just don't know. Like this just feels ultimately scary, but creating that safe haven for them to shine and show up, right? That's what you're helping women do because that's ultimately what you really want to do for yourself.
Yeah.
And you yet are still on that journey. We are all like walking the, like, what is it? Like walk your talk, talk your walk kind of thing, right? Like as much as I'm here, like, okay, preaching and sharing, this is your message. Like I have my own messages. There are things that I'm still working on because we are just forever evolving. Our energy is just always changing, right? Our soul is on a journey. So you've created this really beautiful community, right? But there's still a piece from the community that you need yourself, but they need you to shine and show up in order for it to expand and get to that next level. And that is like the biggest word in here is taking a risk. And it's taking the risk for you to ultimately show up and be able to look in the mirror and say, I'm authentically me. And the people that are supposed to be here are going to be here on this journey.
I love that. And it really is true. When you said, going back to the childhood, like that's not something I ever really thought about. I mean, I know that I love helping women, but it didn't correlate to me that was because I didn't really have that all that much growing up. I had friends, but
Yeah. It's no surprise that you've created this beautiful community because as a child, that's what you felt you lacked.
Yeah.
And therefore, we either continue to deny ourselves, or we like try to over accomplish it.
Mhm.
right? But
Try to
you,
over-accomplish, like, hello.
yeah, but
Yeah.
and that's not in a bad way, because
No.
here it's like, okay, I'm realizing like this, I went through this because that's ultimately part of my purpose.
Yeah.
Because the other women that are feeling that way, I'm supposed to invite them in. I'm supposed to call them in. Come over here. Come hang out with us. I've got you. We've got you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
ultimately, like, you have the crown on, and it's like on your head, but it just needs to fully sit
Yeah.
for you, right? And I know you feel that, and I know you see it,
Mhm. 1,000
right?
1,000%.
Yeah. So the words that come here are true love, taking a stand, positive omen, radical thinking, deep satisfaction, and the ability to change. Keyword is love, pathway, and faith. So ultimately, finding your path
Yeah.
towards your destiny. But when we find our path to our destiny, it's ultimately when we really start like loving ourselves
Mhm.
and connecting with ourselves, and we stop denying the things that we enjoy
Right.
and stop looking outwards to society to
Mhm.
figure out what we are supposed to do.
Mhm.
Right? It's like I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, all right, like my kids are 8 years old. And like I already know that like there's a chance that they're not going to go to college. And I'm totally okay with that because I can already see it. Because that's not part of their path. One might, one may not. Like I'm still feeling that. But at the same time, I'm always like, have a plan. And the plan is to look deep within you, because ultimately you know the things that you need to do. I grew up in a place where my parents were like, you're going to college, you're getting your degree, you're doing this, you're doing all of the things, because that is what society has taught us. Did I learn a lot? Yeah. I have my master's degree. I went, but I was very like, if I don't do this, like, I'm probably not going to have a good life. I'm not going to have a house. I'm not going to have this, because this is ultimately the things that I'm supposed to be doing because society says I'm supposed to do it. But what happened was I realized that when I was going to that path, I was starting to like get very disconnected with me and the things that I enjoyed doing. And I was just doing it because I thought I was supposed to do it. And then when I started looking inwards and I realized, I was just like, that's not all that there is to me. There's like way more here. And I started doing like the deep work, and I started really connecting to what Marissa wanted to do. That's when Auloure came, and I realized I can take something that I enjoy doing and love along with my purpose and something that is just a God-given gift that like I can do all day long and merge them both together to help people.
That is powerful.
And that's ultimately my destiny. That's my path, because I was able to connect to that true love and that passion within me.
Yeah.
So, and for you, going back into it, it's like the word trust comes a lot, not just for you, but for everybody, like trusting ourselves and
Yeah.
ultimately being like, okay, we're gonna jump. And I don't know where this is gonna lead me, but you know what? It may be the most beautiful thing that has ever happened to you.
Mhm.
But we
That's
have to release ultimately what's going on in here of fear of disappointing other people, fear of actually embracing ourselves and our gifts, because that can be really scary too,
mhm.
right? Like, oh my gosh, I know myself over here in this chapter. Like, I
Yeah.
know what to expect. I know that, like, okay, I might be living paycheck to paycheck, or, you know, I know like having this relationship maybe with this one friend, you know, is kind of always hot and cold, but you know what? I know what I'm going to get. I
Yeah.
know what to expect. But when you get out of that box and then you like shift into that higher version of yourself, you don't know what that is yet. So you're saying, I want this. I want to go there. And this is ultimately what I want. But the thing is, are you actually taking the steps to move into that direction? And
That
that's usually
yeah.
like
Yeah.
our ego holding us back. Like, wait a minute, hold on. We know what's happening on this side, and it doesn't really feel good when we're living paycheck to paycheck, or saying, oh, I want more clients, or I want one more of this, woe is me kind of thing. But the thing is, that feels normal.
Mhm.
That's what a lot of people get stuck in, those patterns.
Mhm.
They're like, I want to be over here. One day I hope, I pray, you know, like I just really wish. That's your ego being like, we're just going to stay here. And I tell everybody to fire their ego. Like, my ego has had full-time employment with me for 40 years, and it's time, like, goodbye,
Out.
you're fired. See you later. Like,
Yeah.
go away,
Yeah.
right? Because it's not really doing us any good.
Mm-hmm.
Because ultimately, if you can think it and you can dream it and you can see it, ultimately that is what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Because God, source, whatever it is you believe in, if it didn't plant that seed and that thought in your head, then you shouldn't be doing it, right? Like for me, like I'm not a huge baseball player, right? Like I'm not like an all-star athlete, this and that, whatever it might be, because that's not my vision. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
But if that came to my head, then yeah, that's what I'm supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, I see like traveling the world, speaking, opening up a retreat center. Like if I didn't visually see those things, like I see them, so they're meant to happen, right? Like for you, I know that there's 2 things that are like heavily on your heart that like you see within your 5-year plan. What are they?
I am trademarking Badass Queens and Spiritual Queens. So that is a big thing for me, and really helping women with the coaching stuff, like the coaching for Badass Queens, helping them build. And this isn't for me, I love, I was divorced. So and I was a stay-at-home mom. I don't have a college degree. So there were a lot of things that were holding me back in my head as far as could I live without his paycheck?
Mm.
And those are the women that I want to help, is because that's where I connect, so it's helping those women make that difference, whether or not it's divorce, it's, they could be happily married too, but helping those women not to feel like they don't have options in life.
Right.
So, it's the working full time, cutting the kids around all over the place. How can I do this? How can I build, that extra income? Whether they want to, get a Louis Vuitton bag, they want to go to a spa trip, or they want to pay for the kids' camp. Um, those 2 things, the trademarking, I'm waiting with bated breath. I am planning a retreat for 2025. We are going to do Badass Queen wine. Like that's one of the things that I'm really excited about, and getting women together and having fun and creating that brand, and then helping women. You could tell those 2 things are like that's
You light up like automatically, right? So if you thought about that and you can see it, so it's meant to happen, right? So now you may think like maybe like a year or 2 ago, if someone's like, "Oh, why don't you trademark this?" You've been like, oh, "I don't know about that." Like that just might feel like I'm not sure I'm there yet, right? But the thing is, like, or you're like, "Oh, I could see myself trademarking this in like 2 or 3 years," and you see that because that's your path.
Yeah.
So technically, what you see, that's the path that you're supposed to be going down and supposed to be going on, right? So the fact that you're actually doing that right now, it's no surprise. But what happens is I'm sure there's a lot of work that you had to do in order to believe in yourself to get yourself to that point, right? And there was a lot of like energetic work that you had to do in your business to get it to that level, to be like, yeah, this is worthy of trademarking, right? So that's everything that I do. So it's all like the before, planning and grounding in order for those visions to come into fruition and happen for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
It's pretty cool. Every woman that I work with is different. Every message is different. Their journey is like it's just different, but at the same time, I do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
I do the same thing for multiple women, and each time it's different, and each time it's just so rewarding. Like I've seen clients have come to me with like a DIY logo that they've designed, and now we have like elevated it to like a 7-figure brand by helping them actually see that within them and doing that work and channeling those messages and making sure that from them to their business to their clients, it's a beautiful triangle that's equal. That is a beautiful energetic match.
What a gift to give women, and help them reset and focus, and so that they can focus, because that's the big thing. If there's a million things going on in our brains, which is most women, right?
Doesn't
shut off, and trying to find their purpose and be true to their authentic self. Like you said, a lot of those outside influences, get in here, which prevents women from really taking that step and moving forward. even if it's a
Yeah.
small little step. So I think you're brilliant. I am super
Well,
excited
thank
that
you.
we connected, and I know that you've helped so many. You're going to continue to help so many, and looking forward to hearing about retreats and all sorts of things that you do. So, how can people? So, what would be if somebody wants to learn more? Do you do group sessions? Do you do one-on-one? Do you have like a small
Yeah.
class program? Explain what you offer.
So if anyone wants to find me, you can find me on Instagram at House of Auloure, and Allure is spelled Auloure. So I'll pass all that information over to you. That the way I came up with the word allure is a whole story on its own. So that has a lot to do with my own past lives. So like my business is very, very intuitive. But in ways to work with me, I do offer one-on-one. So I offer between 3 to 12 months of one-on-one private coaching. And then also I do in a group setting. It's actually a program called Soul Expansion, where you have the opportunity to come in at the ground level and work with me in a group setting for 12 months, or you can scale up to the VIP level where we also do that healing work. But my design team and we will actually execute all of your branding, design your logo, design your website, do your funnels for you, make sure that we've got your avatar down. So that is the VIP level, and it's 12 months of group coaching. So you can either come in for the group coaching itself, where it's bi-weekly, and we do some channeling, we do some deep energy work, we do a lot of business guidance, or you can shift up to the next level for VIP and then have my design team design everything for you.
Excellent. Perfect.
Yes.
I will put the link to your Instagram where people can connect with you and go follow you. And I just think you're fantastic. What a lovely woman you are, raising
Thank
two
you.
fantastic children. Um, so I thank you so much for your time, for coming on and sharing your gifts with everyone, and especially giving me some extra special VIP treatment. Um,
Yes.
and sharing
Welcome.
with me that was really, it's very transformative. So I hope everyone contacts you, follows you, and can't wait to see where you take this.
Yes. Thank you so much for inviting me today. This was beautiful. I totally enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.